All right, let's get right into it. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a seriously fascinating deep dive into the intersection of modern cosmetic trends and deep Eastern spiritual philosophy. If you're the kind of focused learner who absolutely loves breaking down complex worldviews into clear, understandable frameworks, well, you are in the exact right place. We're exploring this really intriguing perspective from our source material that takes something as totally mundane as everyday grooming and uses it to unpack a massive complex set of cosmic rules about karma, destiny, and the human soul. It is a completely different way of looking at the physical world, and honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing. So let's jump in. So should you get laser hair removal? I mean, it's a super common dilemma today, right? Tons of people are getting semi-permanent or laser treatments just for convenience, maybe to get rid of a dark shadow on their chin or just to manage their everyday appearance. But what's really interesting about our topic today is how the text uses this totally normal, everyday question as a gateway to explain a profound spiritual framework. The source doesn't answer with medical advice or beauty tips. Instead, it essentially asks us to completely rethink what our bodies actually are and what happens to our life path when we try to artificially erase what nature gave us. Now, the crucial point is captured perfectly in this one core philosophy from the text. We are meant to live as we are created. This really introduces the paradigm-shifting foundation of the source. It explains that, within this specific spiritual worldview, our natural state, our given physical appearance, is not just some accident. It's not a random roll of the genetic dice. It is viewed as a perfectly designed, mathematically precise system. So to alter it just because we find it slightly inconvenient? Well, according to this text, that's completely misunderstanding the very purpose of why we look the way we do in the first place. Okay, let's move on to Section 1, Appearance, the Soul's Tool. The source sets up this really fascinating analogy here. On one hand, we have the physical body. The text describes this not just as flesh and bone, but as a literal equipment or a functional tool provided by nature to help us survive, grow, and operate in this world. On the other hand, we have soul energy, which is basically our inner spiritual mass, or our consciousness. And the bold claim here is that these two perfectly match. Your physical equipment is precisely calibrated, we're talking down to a fraction of a millimeter, to match the unique weight and quality of your soul energy. Think of it like a custom-built machine. Your soul is the operator, and your body is the exact equipment it needs to do its specific work in the world. And this brilliantly illustrates how specific physical traits are viewed in this system. So in this philosophy, hair isn't just some cosmetic feature you can just style or laser off. It's described as a literal antenna. Because human beings are considered to be connected to the heavens in this worldview, we need to receive universal or heavenly energy to function at our best. And hair actually acts as the receiver for this energy. Therefore, specific features, even facial or body hair, grow because they are energetically necessary for your current environment. Removing them artificially isn't just about getting smooth skin. The source sees it as a direct disruption of nature's communication system. You're basically snipping the wires. Which brings us to Section 2, Artificial Changes, Tangled Destinies. Let's walk through this pipeline of karmas step by step, because this is where the philosophy gets highly practical. Let's say you alter your appearance artificially. Maybe you tweak your eyes or laser your face to look flawlessly smooth. Step 2, you naturally gain popularity because, well, society favors standard beauty. Step 3, this newfound popularity attracts new people into your orbit. But here is the critical failure point at Step 4. Because you attracted these people through an artificial physical change rather than true inner spiritual growth, you lack the developed character or the inner mass to actually manage these new relationships. You might attract someone who demands a ton of energy, and because you aren't actually equipped for them, things go south. Which leads straight to Step 5, a tangled destiny. The source essentially notes that gaining unearned popularity brings people you just aren't spiritually equipped to handle, twisting your life path into absolute knots. Now, there is a very specific and frankly fascinating warning from the text about negative relationships. Notice that distinct slice labeled greed mass threshold. The source claims that a scammer is naturally attracted to you the exact moment your personal greed hits a certain energetic percentage. It's wild, right? If you accumulate wealth but lack the wisdom to use it, and you couple that with artificial greed, basically trying to force a destiny that isn't yours, you cross this threshold. The text argues that you will only be conned if your own energetic state is perfectly ripe for it. It's like a cosmic magnet. Living naturally, on the other hand, keeps you protected from ever crossing that line. Let's look at Section 3, the face as a mirror. This slide defines a totally unique cultural term highlighted in the source, Chilsungpan. The speakers suggest this is a concept unique to their culture, describing the human face and body as a literal, physical record of a person's entire life, almost like a biological hard drive. The text makes the amazing claim that if someone knows how to read this Chilsungpan, literally everything is clearly visible. It shows your overall health, your current emotional state, and incredibly, even your smallest daily actions. The source gives this humorous but super pointed example. Let's say you went to a Chinese restaurant and had a secret, bitter argument with your spouse over a plate of pickled radishes the night before. Well, the remnants of that negative energy are visible on your face for the next 2 to 3 days. You literally cannot hide how you are living. To really ground these lofty spiritual ideas in a gritty, memorable story, the speaker recounts an anecdote of a mountain ascetic. So, year 1. He enters the mountains to train, living entirely naturally. By year 17, having never cut his hair or changed his clothes, he emerges looking totally wild and unkempt. But because his hair had grown so wildly, people immediately mistook him for a powerful guru and started flocking to him. Remember what we learned earlier about hair acting as an antenna and attracting energy? It worked too well. So to resolve this, he didn't just go down to a salon. He actually placed his hair on a giant boulder and chopped it off by smashing it with smaller rocks, just to deter these unearned followers. It's a striking story emphasizing that you shouldn't try to forcefully control your image, but let nature take its course. And sometimes, yeah, you have to take drastic, natural measures to correct an imbalance. Finally, let's dive into Section 4, the ultimate beauty secret. So, the source actually offers a true inside-out solution for what we might call a modern glow-up, and it's through natural cellular regeneration. Look, the human body is constantly shedding dead cells and generating new ones, but the quality of those new cells depends entirely on your lifestyle and energy. If you live a joyful, righteous life and avoid unnecessary frustration and anger, those old, degraded cells naturally die off and positive, vibrant new cells take their place. The text claims that if you simply change your mindset to find joy and live correctly, your skin tone will naturally return to a vibrant state and your physical appearance will organically improve all on its own. You don't need artificial treatments to look better. You just need to align your lifestyle with positive energy so your cells regenerate beautifully. Which leaves us with a deeply provocative question. Why do you really want to change your appearance? The source material leaves us with this challenge to chew on. If our bodies are perfectly calibrated tools for our soul's work, designed down to the actual millimeter, then artificial alterations are essentially a rejection of our unique path. Are you trying to artificially force a destiny you just aren't ready for? Or are you willing to do the inner work to naturally evolve your soul, knowing your physical form will beautifully follow suit? It's a genuinely fascinating lens through which to view our modern obsession with beauty, and for sure, something to think about the next time you look in the mirror. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.